Welcome to the talk show about the greatest team in all of Major League Baseball. This is Cubs Talk Show. We're going to start off the second ever Cubs Talk Show by talking about all of July's transactions. On the 5th and 6th, we signed two pitchers who I've never heard of, but a righty, Kenneth McNutt, and a lefty, Christopher Russin. We also traded Ryan Freel to the Royals, presumably because Aramis Ramirez is back off of the DL, and we got some cash and a player to be named later from that. We put Sam Fuld back in Iowa, as I said previously. Aramis Ramirez is back in the lineup. David Patton is on the 15-day DL with a right groin strain. Angel Guzman, is also on the 15-day disabled list because his right triceps have been tender. Normal recovery time is 5 to 6 days, but the Cubs are being careful with him because of his 2.53 ERA. And Ryan Dempster went on the DL today from a broken big right toe, which forced Zambrano to pitch on short rest, and he did pretty good, but ended up losing the game. And this has been a look at July's transactions. And here's another news segment. Well, I guess all these segments are news segments, but this one is called Who's Hot and Who's Not. This is when I just go through the roster and figure out who's playing exceptionally well or exceptionally bad in their past 10 games. We'll start with Kevin Gregg, who has only let up 2 earned runs in his past 10 appearances. Next up is Aaron Heilman, who has only let up 3 earned runs in his past 10 games. And then Carlos Marmol has only let up 3 earned runs in his past 10 appearances. And wow, Carlos Marmol has only had 1 earned run in his past 10 appearances, leading his ERA down a whole 3.2 points. And of course, Randy Wells, who has had 11 starts so far this year, but over those 11 starts, he has a 2.48 ERA in his 4-3. After not having a win for his first 7 games, he's won 4 in a row after getting that first win. So that was a big confidence booster for him, getting his first Major League win. And he's taken off ever since then. Carlos Zambrano has done pretty well in his past 10 starts, lowering his ERA by a whole 1 point. A cold guy is Coy Hill, who in his last 10 games has lowered his batting average from 271 to 233. Andres Blanco has done poorly, on the offensive side at least, and he's gotten his batting average down from 246 down to 225. I am all about this guy because I love have a guy who has good defense. Unfortunately, that's not always how the Cubs think, so he probably won't stick around for a couple of years. But I like him, and I'll follow him. Mike Fontenot has raised his batting average by a good 13 points. Despite Jake Fox's batting average going down about 80 points, he's kept it above 300 over the past 10 games. And that's just from playing more games, getting more at-bats. You're not going to keep your batting average at 400. Perhaps the hottest hitter is Derek Lee, but although he's lowered his average by 5 points over the past 10 games, he's had 5 home runs in the past 10 games, which is pretty good. And he's hitting really well recently compared to his seasonal average from the beginning of the season. Milton Bradley hasn't really raised his batting average a lot, 9 points, but I'm hoping that 9 points will be the launching pad for him to go back into the 321 year, was it, that he had last year? Yeah, 321. But hopefully he can get back to his form last year that he had with the Rangers. And that concludes a segment for Who's Hot and Who's Not. And going through the roster, I realized a transaction that I failed to mention was we traded for Jeff Baker from the Rockies for a relief pitcher who was in A. Daytona. Alberto Albuquerque. When my cousin told me that, I thought they said that they assigned Jeff Baker to, or for a guy. We got a guy from the Albuquerque Isotopes, but I was wrong. And now a monthly review. The Cubs are 5-2 so far this July, so I guess we're on a hot streak. And to be able to keep this streak up, we're going to need to produce runs way more consistently. And to do this, we need everybody to step up and play up to their expectations. With Aramis Ramirez back and Derek Lee on a nice hot streak as of late, things are coming into place for a nice run at the pennant. I believe, at least. And now a look ahead for our Chicago Cubs. On Wednesday, we have a game against Atlanta, finishing up our series with them. That's at 1:20 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet. I believe it's Kevin Hart versus something Kawasaki Kawakami, something like that. Anyways, I predict a loss. I have to be realistic here. Kevin Hart isn't always a starter. I'm not saying he can't do it, not saying he won't do it. I'm saying it's likely that the everyday starter will get the win. Do I hope we win? Yes. Do I think we will? No. Anyways, then there's an off day on Thursday. And on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have a 4-game series with a doubleheader on Sunday, making up a rain game. Anyways, Friday's game versus the Cardinals is at 1:20 p.m. on WGN. Saturday's game is at 3:10 on Fox. The first game on Sunday is at 12:05 p.m. on WGN. And the second game is at 7:05 p.m. on ESPN. I say we're going to split the series 2-2. Nice even matchup. I believe the Cardinals are leading the division. You know, be a nice blockade. Don't win any games. Don't lose any games towards the pennant. And that has been a look ahead. Oh, also, there's the All-Star game and Home Run Derby. And is it the Hall of Fame game? After the St. Louis series. Directly after the St. Louis series. The next day, actually. And I believe Ted Lilly is our only All-Star. As always, leave a text, comment, or a video response. And you can email me at cubstalkshow@gmail.com. That is not my regular email or this being my regular YouTube account, but I'll try to check it anyway. If not, just leave a comment or video response or something. I'll find out because I'm planning to actually make this a more regular thing than twice we've done it so far. I completely forgot about this after I did the original show, so I'm sorry about that. That's the reason. I thought about this a couple of weeks ago. Started doing work on it, procrastinated, didn't get anything done. But this time I just said screw it. Started recording. Pretty soon I'll be getting a camera, so hopefully you can see me rather than just the Cubs logo. Not that that's so bad. But that about wraps it up. It's the end of the show. See you all later.